Welcome back to the Parking Lot Takes podcast. That's Brandon. I'm Christian. The movie might be over, but the conversation's just starting.
That's right.
And we have, starting off today's episode with some new news.
Okay.
This is coming right off the back of Brave New World. We have spoiler discussion and a full non-spoiler review up on the channel. It's one of our first takes of the Parking Lot Take that we did.
Yeah.
So off the back, we're off that opening weekend for Brave New World. We're done.
Yes.
Sweet. Do you want to take, do you know what it did box office wise first weekend?
I know it's number one.
Number one in the box office?
Number one in the box office.
Shocker.
From what I see. Yeah, shocker.
With
MCU.
Dogman. I mean, golly.
Yeah, not too many posing a real threat to this movie.
Absolutely.
Despite what maybe the mixed reviews would say.
Yeah.
But.
Okay. So, capping off its technically over the holiday.
Yes.
With including the holiday day.
Yeah.
It broke 100 million.
Wow.
Opening weekend.
100 million opening weekend.
Yeah.
In comparison to other movies, that's not great.
You don't think so?
But it's still. What do you think?
I think Winter Soldier only did 95 million.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
If I'm wrong, light me up. That's what it says.
Wow. Do you think that's just because MCU early phases? Has to be.
Yeah, I don't think it's a mark on the movie at all.
No, I don't think so.
Because it does not. If they want to be like, if anyone ever brings up the argument, well, it did better than Winter Soldier, I will throw a chair.
That's crazy.
I will throw a chair
that's
at you.
Crazy.
That's no.
That's early phases.
It's got to be just the hype around.
Because MCU wasn't at its peak till like phase 3, where you're hitting $1 billion movies.
Yeah.
So that was early in phase 2.
Yeah.
So that's just the time.
Yeah, that's just the hype of it being a Captain America movie.
Yeah, I don't think that is kind of crazy though. 100 million over the Winter Soldier. Wow.
Yeah. So for reference, Civil War did 179.
Which makes more sense because of the phase it's in.
Yeah.
And that one also probably makes sense too because it was marketed as like, I mean, all the Avengers are in this movie.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to come out to see this one.
Right.
But it was in its peak of, we'd had some good Avengers movies. We were on a roll at that point. We were getting banger after banger.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Wow.
Yep.
100 million.
So that was my first start off for news this weekend.
Okay. Not too bad, especially with the recent landscape of MCU. Some of these movies have not performed well. So for this one to perform 100 million, it feels a little low maybe in comparison to some of like the Avengers movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, some of those have been doing like a lot.
I would say hand a pay raise to the marketing team and then quickly offer them a severance package for the fact that the trailers spoil.
That's the weakest.
It's they absolutely bone this movie.
Yeah.
Because it is shot like you don't know certain things.
Yeah.
And we talked about that, but
yeah.
They shoot it like
you
don't know certain. Well, I guess it's not even a spoiler because if you've seen the trailer,
you know.
Yeah.
Red Hulk is in this movie.
So it's shot like we don't know that Red Hulk's coming.
Exactly.
And so it's kind of weird.
The big reveal, you don't feel anything from it.
But I mean, I'll say this. Good. You know what? Don't take away their money because you know what? For the quality of movie this was,
yeah.
They
got people in the theaters.
I would say it got people in the theaters, and I don't think necessarily it warranted all the hype.
Yeah.
Real quick, while we're on this, can we talk about? I mean, just maybe give a few sentences. Like, I'm tired of being like, the movie's all right. Like, I don't feel like that's good enough. Like, I'm sorry. I get it. It's not that I have nostalgia rose glasses, but like when you're producing your highest, like when movies are supposed to be the highest, like the big crescendo to a phase, and it's like I would say like Quantumanium was on that list. Like I feel like Quantumanium was hyped out of its mind. And so when people are like, oh yeah, they're like, it's okay. Well, no, because those are supposed to be the Avengers movies in their phases.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they're not great.
Yeah.
So that's,
I think where it falls is not if you just go, I enjoyed it, it's just okay. But if somebody says like, well, it's not up to par with these Avengers movies at all, but like it's okay. Then it starts to almost like you're almost contradicting yourself a little bit because it's like you've lowered the bar for this one, but not for other films. So that's when for me it becomes a little muddy of I don't like you can't just say it's all right if it's not up to the standard of where you've had it in the past.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That like sometimes that's probably a little controversial because I do buck against sometimes the like being too critical. Like, because we've talked about it before, there are just some like popcorn flick movies where you turn your brain off and you have fun with it. But when
this shouldn't have been one of those.
No, specifically because this is a shared universe and we have a good barometer for like what quality is in this world.
Yeah.
Good writing, good characters, good direction, good action. And so for us to come into some of these and just be like, well, I mean, like it was all right though. It's like, but you also think this is like amazing. Yeah. And it's nowhere near that standard. So
yeah,
that's when it starts to get kind of hairy for me.
For sure.
But I know that's not always the most pleasant thing to say because you want to just love all movies.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are because of initial reviews, people went in trying to find things to like. And I'm not saying there's not things to like and not things to enjoy.
There are moments.
And that should be your movie going, like that's a great movie going experience.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not fair to not compare it
or
to other
just
things.
Point out the negatives.
Yeah.
So like I think the kind of like community sometimes can get a little toxic, I think, just from like my perception. Like not that I know a lot, but sometimes I think it's fun to hate on certain things. And I don't think that's great to do. But I think also like you should be true to how you feel. Like if you not necessarily like if you hate it, but if you really don't like something or you do just say, gosh, I just hate this movie. Mm-hmm. It's just not for me. I think it's fine to say that. Like I think you can be able to say that as long as it's not just doing it for the sake of hating it.
Yeah.
And I think like with this movie, there's some things to like. I just think there's a whole lot more to dislike. But I would be lying if I said something different. Yeah. But that's just how it is. And that conversation is always nuanced.
And then there's like the opposite of that where you have like Thor: The Dark World that's like a really good movie and people just hate it for no reason.
No reason.
I think it's insane to say that movie's terrible.
Okay, I did rescind it. I don't think it's awful. I just don't think it's very good. But we won't go back down that trail.
All right.
We've been there. I will rewatch this. I'm going to rewatch this. I'm thinking about watching the MCU through again. And when I hit this one, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that sounds good. I can't believe I saw some lists, and some people rated this Brave New World over Guardians 2. And Guardians 2 gets a weird amount of hate that I don't understand at all.
Yeah.
And so to put this movie, I mean, I just like, this has got to be at the low on the list.
Yeah, because Guardians 2 for me is at least like middle of the road, not on the low end.
Like it's the worst Guardians movie.
But it's still not.
But that's not saying much.
Yeah.
That's like saying, Age of Ultron's controversial. Maybe it's just like the pitfalls in any movie is like just gets hated on because it's technically the lowest tier. That's like very true, isn't it? Because Age of Ultron gets a lot of hate. First Avenger gets a lot of unwarranted hate that I don't understand. Like that movie's good and fine and fun.
But if people put it on the lower tier, what's unique about the MCU is like most of the lower tier movies are still good movies. Does that make sense? So like I would probably only point out like a few, I hesitate to say a handful of movies that I would say these aren't good. Yeah. Like I don't think these are good. But even the lower tier ones, like if somebody put the first Avenger down there, it's still a good movie.
Right. It's just I'm saying you're looking at that movie as in a spoiled mentality. True. Whereas if that movie was the only movie you got, you would not be complaining about it. But because you have Winter Soldier and Civil War to compare it to, you have an issue with it all of a sudden. I think the same thing goes for Age of Ultron. I agree. Yeah. I agree. Like you would want Age of Ultron to be better than the first Avengers. Yeah. I don't necessarily think it's glaringly worse, in my opinion. And Age of Ultron's the worst of the Avengers movies, but that doesn't mean anything. Not at all. It's just because the Avengers movies are very, very good. I mean, I guess you could say maybe Age of Ultron being. I would say I would watch Age of Ultron and definitely didn't think it was better than the first Avengers, but thought it was like just as good. Yeah. Maybe that was what people were upset about, possibly. Because here I am saying like. I have no issue saying I think Brave New World should have been... Well, no, I don't even think it could have beat Winter Soldier, but at least better than
Gosh, I don't even know.
At least, I mean,
what to compare it to? I wouldn't
at
say
least
Civil War.
as good as the first Avenger. I'll say that.
That's fair.
It should have been at least as good as First Avenger, and it's not. So,
because like I said, like if we're using First Avenger as kind of the marker, that's still a good movie, a good standard to work off of. And then Winter Soldier and Civil War just did something so different with each one of them, and it just elevated the characters so much more. So this one should have at least been as good as the First Avenger, definitely. And I would say it's not. Yeah.
We can move on.
We've talked a lot about the MCU.
It's just the subject matter right now.
I mean, it's fun. I love talking about the MCU. I mean, it's one of my favorite franchises of all time. So that's always a good time. But yeah, that conversation around the MCU films, like where they fall. Some just get more hate, not because they're hated, but just because they're not as good as the best. Yeah. And that's fair. It's just going to naturally fall that way. Some new news, though. Yeah. Do we want to talk about some new images we got? Yep. So we got our first look at Matt Damon in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey as Odysseus. Not a lot to go off of here, but what did you think?
I thought... Yes! It looks awesome!
It does look awesome.
It looks freaking awesome! It looks so sick. He looks so good. He looks so freaking good. Yes. Matt Damon looks awesome. Oh my gosh, he looks so cool. He looks so freaking cool. Oh, the beard and just the whole aesthetic. It looks awesome. They nailed it. They're... Yes. Yes. Does this make Gladiator 2 better? Just kidding. No. We won't talk about that. As long as he doesn't rip out a baboon neck or whatever tail he bit.
As long as they don't fight in an arena filled with water and sharks, maybe. You know?
I thought that was fine.
It is fine, but it's kind of out there. I think it looks really good.
That battle was short, though. That's in the movie.
That is true.
It's kind of like that was it. We just rammed the boats together. Yeah. All he did was snap the paddles, and that was it.
Threw a couple guys in. He got eaten. It was that. Yeah. I think Matt Damon looks really good, though. Yes. I think he looks so good.
He looks awesome.
What I noticed, too, was it looks like he's getting fit for this. I mean, not that Matt Damon's not fit. Don't get me wrong. But he just looks a little beefier. Did you notice that at all? Like, because you see like a little bit...
always been in good shape.
That's what I said. He's always been in good shape. Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yeah, like he's in Bourne, he's in good shape.
Oh, yeah, he's in great shape. I think it looks like he might just be a little beefier. Because in a lot of in like the Bourne movies, he's fit, but he's a little leaner. No. He's also older. You don't think he's leaner in the Bourne movies? Mm-mm. I'm trying to think of something else.
I'm talking about the new one.
Oh, Jason Bourne?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's beefier in that one.
He's beefy in that.
That would be a good comparison. Yeah, I'd give you that. Well, because he's older in Jason Bourne.
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean. Like, cause
he looks good like that.
He does like the fist, the cage fight stuff. Yeah. And so I remember noting being like,
that's a good comparison.
He's in good shape.
Yeah, I think it looks so good though.
It looks awesome.
What's cool though is we've gotten a lot of news around this one, and I think like it's coming out next year, right? Yeah, they're shooting it this year. Obviously,
I'm surprised we got some like images of it.
I am too. It feels very early. But we got some casting. Yep. Now a lot of people have been talking about this. Here's my question to you. I'm going to read these off. Yeah. Is this the greatest cast ever assembled? You ready? Yeah. Matt Damon, of course. Yep. Tom Holland. Okay. Zendaya. Robert Pattinson. Anne Hathaway. Charlize Theron. Jon Bernthal. Fun addition. Love him. Lupita Nyong'o. Benny Safdie. Corey Hawkins. And then like 5 other lesser known but also good actors.
What are you asking me? Sorry.
Do you think this is the greatest cast assembled ever?
I think it's definitely good.
It's probably not the best.
I definitely don't think it's the best.
I think the casting is crazy though. I think that's insane. I mean, throwing in Tom Holland and Zendaya, you've got chemistry there. Robert Pattinson, I mean, we know he's worked with him before.
I feel like the casting in like Inception is insane. That's what I would say. It's like insane. Michael Caine,
I would say it's insane now.
Tom Hardy. I don't know. It's tough. So this is my hot take. I told you I had a hot take about this.
Yeah, I don't know what your hot take would be for this. This feels like a pretty safe bet here.
Tom Holland is a surprising pick to me for a Nolan movie.
Interesting. Why?
I feel like there's not, I don't want to say he hasn't done enough, but he's not like
the same caliber
yeah.
as what we're seeing in the rest of the cast.
Well, even, I mean, no, Oppenheimer had an insane cast.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. Yeah, Oppenheimer, gosh, there's a lot.
So that's my hot take, is like, I'm curious I'm not saying he's not a good actor. I think he's definitely something special.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you would be pulling. So like, let's like look at his career, right? So I think some of the like lesser known stuff, like,
the more dramatic.
Yeah, is good. It's just not like, so what's the one where it's like the devil everywhere all the time?
Yeah.
Like while he was good in that,
Pattinson
was the smoke show in that movie.
Yeah, that's a good
and
point.
And like, there hasn't been a movie that Tom has been in that he is the standout actor. Because in the first Homecoming movie, who is it? It's Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's Vulture's the one we know. Mm-hmm. In Far From Home, while we don't, like, I think they think Jake Gyllenhaal's like a weak performance.
Yeah.
I don't think his, like, acting is, like, super, like, it's good and it's definitely works, but it's not like next level acting in Far From Home.
Yes.
And then we go to No Way Home and everyone notes Andrew Garfield's acting.
Yes.
So he's like almost like never noted in his movies for acting ability.
Yeah.
So honestly, like someone like Andrew Garfield would have been like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because Andrew has been a standout in all the projects he's been, even like really crappy ones.
Yes.
So while Tom Holland has a awesome resume of good movies, he's not the standout in a lot of his movies.
That's a good point.
So that's why I think it's an interesting, like, it's kind of like, I feel like Tom Holland's like an interesting choice. Like, it's not that it's bad, but like we're talking like, what is, like, it's Spider-Man, and it's like some of the smaller stuff, which you know, Cherry, that one show that didn't do well. Yeah. Uncharted.
Ooh, I wouldn't put that on.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, I know, but I'm saying that's like what he's been in. And he's not great in Uncharted, so it's not like, to me, I have faith in Tom, but like I keep hearing like stacked cast. I'm like, is Tom and Zendaya like, are we considering them stacked cast actors? Mm-hmm. Because while I agree they're very popular and I love them to death and I think they're awesome, they're not a Robert Pattinson, they're not a Cillian Murphy, they're not a Matt Damon, they're not a Leonardo DiCaprio, and they're not a Matthew McConaughey or an Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Or a Christian Bale. Mm-hmm. So, or Tom Hardy. So that's, I would even say they're not there. So that's why I think like I'm very curious, which actually is great. Oh, this segues so well into this. So Maya Hawke, the daughter of Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, who's in Stranger Things. Yes. She recently was on a panel and talked about how producers are looking at Instagram followers for their actors now. And, and the directors need to pick a cast with a certain amount of Instagram followers. They were talking about this on Duck Takes, I believe. Yeah. And so I thought this was very interesting. Did they pick Tom Holland? Did Christopher Nolan pick Tom Holland and Zendaya for that reason? Could be. Because they're just mass appeal loved. Yeah.
So that's now like a requirement. Yeah. Is like a certain level of...
In at least the movies Maya Hawke's do, like she talked about it, at least whatever projects, I'll say plural, because it seemed to be plural when she was talking about them.
Talking about it, yeah.
At least they are applying to that. So that's why I think it's interesting, and I'm curious if that's why he picked Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Here's why I thought maybe he picked Tom Holland and Zendaya is because of their personal life relationship. Maybe he thinks the chemistry will translate on screen. I don't know what their characters are. That's a stretch. But if they, for some reason, have some kind of relationship in this movie, maybe he thinks that the chemistry will play really well. Again, I know that might be a bit of a stretch, but when I heard it the first time, I was trying to figure out why he would have cast these two. I don't want to like hate on Tom, but Zendaya makes sense to me because, kind of to your point, she's been in projects where she's been the standout. Like in her own movies, like even outside of Dune. So Zendaya makes sense to me. Adding in Tom, I thought maybe there's something chemistry-wise there. Like I said, I don't know. That's a stretch. Christopher Nolan's a
I don't
genius,
think you could say Timothy Chalamet would have made more sense to me than Tom Holland.
But unless he
you
just couldn't get Timothy.
Maybe, but
no shot at Tom.
Let's talk about your thing real quick, which is I think Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya have better chemistry in Dune than Tom and Zendaya do in No Way Home.
Yeah, and it is very different. It's more dramatic versus kind of quirky, awkward No Way Home.
I actually think they really tried to do it. Like I in my opinion, I think they really tried to sell us
in No Way Home.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in No Way Home, it is a little bit more serious and a little bit more.
I don't think
dynamic.
They were like we're taking it lighthearted. Like that's kind of a dumb take because it's supposed to hit us emotionally that she's forgetting about Peter Parker.
Yes.
So I wouldn't say that.
In the first two, it very much is that way.
Yeah.
But in No Way Home, because they're trying to strike you with the emotional.
But I'm sure someone's gonna take it the wrong way. I think Tom Holland is brilliant. I think he is spectacular.
I think he's great. Yeah.
He has never been a standout actor in the movies he's been in.
He's been really good in a lot of these movies.
He's very consistent.
Yeah, very consistent and done some really cool stuff. But at times, an actor has just maybe done a little bit better. Or not better, I shouldn't say better, but like to your point, just stood out more.
Yeah.
Like Vulture. Michael Keaton. I mean, it is Michael Keaton. He's acting against, you know what I mean?
You can't say that because Vulture could have been just an absolute phoned in, like,
it could have
paychecks thing.
But I just mean, it is Michael Keaton.
He brought
Keaton,
so much. I don't feel like you could say that though. Like,
what do you mean? I just mean if Michael Keaton brings it, it's hard for anyone to act against him, is what I mean. You're right. Oh, he could have phoned it in easily.
I don't know. I'm thinking about Let's Get Nuts and stuff like that. I think Michael Keaton was like in Birdman and in this is like, other than that, like a lot of times he's not in like the best projects, but like in those movies, he's just such a standout.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's a standout in most of everything I've seen. Have you ever seen The Founder? Mm-mm. That's a really good one where he kind of carries. He's basically like the founder of. Well, it's talking about the founding of like McDonald's and how all that works.
Oh no!
Really good
I have
movie.
seen that. Yeah,
I think. Michael Keaton. I think it would be kind of crazy to say that he's not a like A-list fantastic actor.
Oh, I agree with you.
So what I'm saying is, anyone acting opposite of him, you're going to feel it if he's bringing it. If he phoned it in, maybe you wouldn't feel it.
Yeah.
But I think Michael Keaton did a good job in that movie. So I just mean Tom Holland being opposite of him, you're going to feel a little bit of that. Rather than it being some like C-tier, B-list that you don't really know that well, that maybe you would just say, oh, it's okay. But Michael Keaton brings it. I mean, he has some good moments in that movie.
Maybe. No. There's no. I was gonna say maybe there's maybe he just has never like had the chance to be, but there's no reason Andrew Garfield should have been so much better than him in No Way Home. As like brought it more, like been more funny, been more emotional, like that's Tom's movie essentially.
Yeah. It's tricky, but yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, even like, I think Willem Dafoe's in the conversation before Tom is.
Yeah, he has some good. Watching him turn in that movie, so good.
So I would say like, I was going to say, so to that point, I was like going to say, Willem Dafoe, like, yeah, that's tough to like, but then it's like, no, because like, I think a lot of people agree Andrew was like one of the best parts. Andrew's acting, and specifically when he talks about losing Gwen, is one of the best emotional, like, hitting scenes over Aunt May, over all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's bringing baggage into it, but I think his role is spectacular in No Way Home. So that's all that to say, that's my hot take for Odyssey, is I don't think it's bad, but as a casting choice, I'm curious if that's a popularity thing.
Could be.
But I don't know why like Nolan would. One, I would be pissed off if a producer was like, you need to like, if it's a Nolan movie and you're like, you need some actors in this. Shut up.
There's no shot. I mean, his movies make so much money. I can't imagine it being that. I can't imagine a producer going to Christopher Nolan saying that. Like, sorry, the cast that you've chosen right now, not enough
and
Instagram
his wife
followers.
produces is a producer, so maybe
it could be some like,
it's not like that.
Yeah, I could see it.
I'm hoping Christopher Nolan sees something in Tom that we haven't necessarily seen yet.
That's what I'm like. I think I'm alluding to when I say like the chemistry is like maybe he just sees something from meeting him, interacting with him, what he's done that we're just missing. And then this time he's going to just really deliver. I mean, I think with the right direction, Tom will deliver. And who better than Christopher Nolan?
Possibly.
I'm excited for it, though.
Yeah.
I'm so shocked that it's coming this soon, though. It feels like we spend 5 years, 6 years between movies.
So Christopher Nolan will have shot and made 2 movies before Batman 2 comes out.
That's crazy. Oh, my gosh. That's insane, dude.
I'm assuming that's a DC thing, like James Gunn, like them trying to get their ducks in a row and trying to like. So basically, he's like, Matt, we need to push you out a little bit in terms of structuring. How
does anybody at DC not go? The Batman did so well. Let's fast track this. Let's strike while the iron's hot. Like that just makes that's the biggest fumble to me.
I'm possibly curious if if basically there was going to be another Batman project that would come out the same year.
So they had to. Gosh, like it's just.
So I don't think James Gunn would have wanted 2 like different
separate Batman
movies to come out.
I totally get that, but how do you like deny the success of the Batman? I mean,
I think James Gunn's gonna put the DCU before it either way.
Then do you scrap?
No, you don't scrap it, but you make it because it's loved. But I bet in the list of priorities, like we're trying to get the DCU up and going. Man. So
that's just such a big
here's my
to
prediction.
Me,
if Superman flops, Batman 2 gets moved up. That is my like genuine prediction.
Do you think they bring Robert Pattinson into the DC?
Don't do it.
Do you think they do if Superman flops though to get some traction?
I'll be pissed off. I might quit on it, to be honest.
Done with the DCU already?
I would be done with it. The Batman's too good. I want 7 Pattinson Batman movies with the entire Bat family. I want Dick Grayson, and then I want Nightwing. I want Red Hood. I want Jason Todd, and I want
Red Hood.
And I want Tim Drake, and I want Red Robin. I want Batgirl. I want the whole shebang.
They're not going to do it. I don't think they'll do it.
Why do you not think they'll do it? They're already doing. Because they're doing Dick Grayson. No, they're picking up with Damian.
You're right. In The Brave and the Bold. Yeah, you're right. They are doing Damian. That's a good point. I just feel like they're going to save most of the Bat family for the DCU movies.
They're doing Damian, I think.
I don't see them doing 2 iterations in the same like DC lineup. Like I don't see them doing The Brave and the Bold. You've got a Damian Robin, and then like let's say 2 years later, you've got a new Dick Grayson Robin.
I think that's wild because we've never seen it, and they're already jumping in the middle. So that means we're not getting a Dick Grayson Robin. Okay, that means we're not getting a Jason Todd Robin. We're not getting a Tim Drake. Mm-hmm. We're just going straight to Damian. And we might include those guys later on, but still you'd be missing out on a huge opportunity to cast a young actor, develop him up to be Nightwing, and then do it over again with several other actors. There's plenty of stories. There's so much out there to do.
They can
bring the Riddler back as Hush. Like there's so much there to explore and work with that I think just make that a Bat family story. Don't even add it to the DCU. It doesn't even look like it fits, so let's not even try.
Yeah.
So I don't need that. Just let it be its own thing. I know a lot of people agree with me, and some people think it needs to be a part of it. I totally disagree.
I do not.
2 different Batmans is fine with me. If especially like stylistically, that looks like they're going for like a completely different thing. So it's going to be easy to distinguish, and you're not even going to worry about it. You're going to have your awesome, really grounded Batman movies, just like how you can appreciate Nolan Batman and Affleck Batman. Everyone did it. So we'll do it again with Pattinson and
they didn't overlap,
hopefully
though,
Jensen Ackles.
They never overlapped though.
No, they didn't, but I'm just saying like we were able to appreciate Ben Affleck. Like they could have come out at the same time. Like it kind of technically it was supposed to actually. Man of Steel was supposed to be a Nolan movie.
That's right. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That's right. The only thing that I would say, I think you're right. I think the audience can distinguish it. I just don't know if DC will want to do it. Does that make sense? I think they may think the audience is going to be confused.
I don't. We're not going to be.
We're telling you right now, we won't, James Gunn, we won't be confused.
Don't do it. I'm not an idiot. I just watched Brave New World. You treated me like an idiot in Brave New World.
But that's the point, is I think sometimes they think the audience is an idiot. I hate that. I don't think they are. I think we'd be fine.
No, they're not going to do it. They're keeping it. They already said they're going to keep it separate. There would be so much backlash.
No. I know they're going to do it separate. I just mean, do they? Let's say Superman does well, Brave and the Bold does well. Do they then say, you know what, we're going to phase out the Batman? No. I don't know, man. We'll see, but I have a hard time thinking they're going to overlap it.
To do a lot of Batman stuff. We have one Batman movie on the books.
But, if it delivers, though, they're going to do more.
Yeah, they're going to do more, but completely different. Like, I feel like it's going to be so different. Gotham's what shines in those Pattinson movies.
I know it's going to be different. I'm not talking about the distinguishability. I'm just talking about having two Batmen out there in active movie universes for audiences to follow.
I don't think so, but I'll give you the point that I'll give you this point that is a more interesting conversation if James Gunn's Batman sucks.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a better conversation to have then.
Yeah. And that is ultimately
we'll see how it turns.
I
would say if they both do really well, I think it'd be fine. But
if one of them bombs,
if
well, it wouldn't be the Batman 2.
Yeah, if Gunn's Batman blows, then I bet there'd be some motivation to well, it's not fair because we're comparing him to Pattinson. We should I think then they would come in with that backhanded excuse of well, it's too confusing because of the Batman and people are confused even though we're not, and you just made a bad Batman movie. Yeah. But anyway,
that's an interesting conversation as the DCU kicks off essentially. Yep. And we'll see down the road. Okay. Let's talk about what we've been watching.
Yeah, this week?
Yeah, this week. I'm kind of curious to see what you've been watching. We've talked a little bit about what I've been watching, and I want to give some thoughts on that, but I'm curious to see what you've been up to.
I decided to... So I did a couple things. Mm-hmm. I watched Inception this week.
Ah, yes.
Top 10 movie for me. I finished X-Men 97.
Oh, really?
Fantastic. Stellar. Incredible.
Okay, I'm actually very curious about this because everything I've seen on social media from people that I watch love this show. It's good. Like one of the best Marvel shows.
It's very good. It absolutely is. Really? I don't put Daredevil over it. Or sorry. I don't put it over Daredevil. I think Daredevil's absolutely just amazing.
Yeah.
But as far as it's very good, and I did not watch any of the old original 97 cartoon, and I still jumped in and thought it was amazing.
I'm going to have to watch that because it's just one that I haven't been all that thrilled to go watch. Like, I did watch the original. Get sucked in. And I was like, I think I kicked on the first episode one night and I just got kind of busy and didn't keep going. But everybody is saying that this is amazing.
It's incredible. It's so good. It's a great proof of concept. Marvel, go finish the Amazing Spider-Man. Or not amazing, but... Man. The Spider-Man animated series that never got finished.
Yes,
Go ahead and finish that.
Great one.
And then James Gunn take notes and go do Batman Beyond. Finish Batman Beyond.
Well, I'm with you on that.
I'm like now after seeing 97, I'm like, nope, I don't want a live action Beyond movie, Batman Beyond movie. Just finish the animated series, and I'll be happy.
Gosh, what a good series! I love that series. That's a good one. So you watched...
So 97, and then I rewatched all of Indiana Jones.
All of them?
Yeah. Wow. I have a job where I can put my phone up and watch movies, so it's easy for me to plow through stuff. Yeah. So I watched all Indiana Jones recently.
Anything? Okay, all of them including...
Dial of Destiny. I watched Dial of Destiny again as well.
What did you think about Dial of Destiny? That's a tricky one for me. Well, no, it's not tricky.
I don't think it's good.
I don't think it's good either.
I think people. I remember seeing some like reviewers review it and review it very high, and I was bored. Really excited going in and thought it was very lackluster.
I was very bored.
I'm mad. Here's what I'm mad, and I just didn't get over it. They undid character development to freaking make the movie happen.
Yeah.
Like I hate the idea. I hate the idea that Indiana Jones is lonely, asleep, drunk in his apartment, waking up hungover. I at 80 years old hate it.
Yeah, I can't
hate
stand
it.
that. Yeah.
I hate it. I hate that so much. It makes me so mad. Like, why?
Doesn't make sense to the character.
Gosh, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
Like, why? That's not. I don't. Like, that makes me sad. Like, it's.
You've just taken this character and just crapped all over
you
it.
Undid so much. And this is also a consistent thing I hear where people like want to revisit. Audiences want to revisit shows and movies, and they're like, Sierra, shout out to my wife who just texted me that she got a notification our camera's at 10%.
Let's go.
Friend of the show.
A real one.
Friend of the show, Sierra.
Friend of the show coming from you is kind of funny.
Friend of the show. Big supporter.
Yeah. Huge supporter for you.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
She is Filipino Hawaiian, so diversity casting on the show.
No, Christian, we're cutting out DEI. Do you not know how this administration works? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So I gotta yell. She's on the other side of the studio.
That is hilarious.
What the heck point was I making? I was ranting about
Indiana Jones is a drunken crapshoot.
Okay,
so
this is an issue with a lot of freaking franchises, not a franchise, but they talk about people wanted, like, Friends was one where they wanted to people wanted Friends to start back up again.
Come back, yeah.
And I don't have an opinion on that, but the actor said no because they would have to undo all these stories. I'm like, no, you don't really have to. You could give us like a popcorn flick of a show where we're just revisiting everybody.
Yeah.
We're enjoying like seeing everybody again. We don't need like some tragedy to bring everyone back.
Yes.
I don't need the fifth Indiana Jones movie where Indiana Jones is 80 years old to have a character arc.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to happen. He doesn't really have character arcs in the other Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah.
He's an archaeologist and he is pursuing history, artifacts and history and the betterment of history. He doesn't have these massive character arcs through the movies. And
it's not
they're
very
freaking
dramatic.
Fun.
Yeah, they're really fun.
They're not saying he doesn't have a character arc, but it's not like this, like, he started here and he ended up here.
Yeah.
He started as an archaeologist pursuing truth and pursuing the preservation of history, and he ends right there as well. Now,
and they like throw in love interest, like it doesn't, and those aren't even like that developed. It's more of just along for the ride, kind of interesting, fun chemistry, but it's not like this overarching like highs and lows of his character, and he gets really dramatic.
Hot take.
It's just fun.
I think Crystal Skull handled his character arc beautifully. I don't like that he had a son and he didn't know about it, but
Shia LaBeouf.
where he starts where he picks up in Crystal Skull is exactly where we all thought he would freaking leave off, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then he ends at a good point in a good place at the very end.
Do you think that's a good movie?
Crystal Skull?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Compared to Dial of Destiny, yes. The first 30 minutes of Crystal Skull is freaking awesome.
Yeah, it just falls apart on the back end.
Awesome. It is.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's peak fair. Indiana Jones. It's up there. It's incredible. It's exactly what you think. Like, it's so good. Everything in the artifact room, the entire escape, okay? All the banter between him and Max is really, really good. Harrison Ford does great in the movie.
Yeah, he does.
everything pretty much until, Nuketown is freaking weird. But the fight on the rocket's really
Him in the
good.
refrigerator,
The fights
yeah.
are good. The rocket fight where they're black, like all that, the first 30 minutes are freaking awesome.
And then it just...
And then it falls off.
Falls off
But
big time.
there, at least that movie has moments.
Yeah.
There's that moment. The first 30 minutes is great.
I don't think I could bring up one moment from Dial of Destiny. And I watched it probably...
Nothing special.
A month or two ago.
No, nothing special.
I just can't think of... Like, I genuinely was bored. Which
The
is
first
a shame.
10, the flashback scene is all right. Where
Yeah,
they
it's
DH
fine.
him, it's fine.
It's fine. It looks okay.
But the first 30 minutes of Crystal Skull is really, really good. And then let's get rid of Nuketown. All right, let's take Nuketown out. Well, then we have the really good, in my opinion, really good chase through the university on the motorcycle with Mutt and stuff. I think that stuff works. I think finding the skull works. I think all the stuff with Henry.
Yeah.
Henry.
Henry, yeah.
Where he's like lost his mind and all that. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think all that stuff is fine and it works. It's just there's just weird moments. I think people also, I say it's not a good movie. I think it's also a little overhated. Like, guys, he used his whip like a Batman grappling hook. The fact that Mutt swung on a vine, can we kind of get over
chill
that?
a
Like,
little
that's
bit?
not the weirdest thing in the planet. Him fencing Kate Blanchett,
Yes,
I don't think is a big deal either. I think Shia could work fine. I don't think he's that bad of a character personally.
No,
I don't think he's the strongest. Like, he's definitely
He's
no
just there.
short round in Temple of Doom, but it's not like it's abysmal. Like, it's so
Yes.
terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dial of Destiny. I already watched it just to give it another shot because a lot of people were like, "Yeah, it's good." Like, I heard someone describe it as good as that movie could have been, considering like the main actor's an 80-year-old, and I
hate that.
I completely
don't like that.
disagree with that.
I don't like that as good as it could have been. I mean, yeah, I don't like that statement for that
It
movie.
annoys me to no end that they undid character development to have that story. It did not need to. It didn't need to do that.
No.
It didn't need to do that. Like, Marion, guess what? Doesn't have to come on the adventure. They can be happily married and he can get sucked into this. Like, it's fun. That can happen.
Yes.
But Mads Mikkelsen, I think, is a good antagonist in it. And
He's good in anything he's in, pretty much.
But I think Crystal's, like, the first 30 minutes, I was thinking about this, I was watching it. It was like the first 30 minutes is
great.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's really good.
What's your favorite out of all of them?
I like Last Crusade.
Really? Okay.
Last Crusade
That's
has the
easy.
most,
It's fair.
like, moments, I think. I think some of...
I think
like,
the first one's my
Raiders
favorite.
is awesome, but, like, Raiders, I think, is a pacing problem a little bit. Not that I think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a fantastic movie. But it's like... the opening sequence is solid. Then we're back at the university, and then we're off to see Marion, and then we're hanging out in wherever with Shaw.
Yes,
What's his name? Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
And that's kind of slow. And then we think Marion's dead, and then we're out in the desert. But like the highs of that movie are the highest in the franchise.
Yeah.
Finding the Ark is one of the best, like, finding an artifact moments in the movie series.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff on the boat works. It's pretty funny. The relationship between Marion and Indiana Jones is the strongest out of all of it.
Yeah,
Well, big
definitely.
shocker, she's the love interest in 3 of the movies, but in the first movie she's definitely a standout.
Yes, yeah.
But then Raiders, I think his dad, I'm blanking on his name now.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery
It's fantastic. Love
is
him.
great.
Great.
All the moments there's so many moments in that movie. The motorcycle chase in the sidecar motorcycle, he throws the spear through the spigot and flips the motorcycle. The opening young Indy on the train is really, really great.
It's fun. Yeah.
It's so good. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And then like jumping from there onto the boat where he's fetching the cross, and then the stuff he gets picked up, the stuff in Venice with the like all that stuff is really,
There's some really
good
moments, yeah.
It's got more.
They're classic.
It's perfect. Like that movie's great, I think.
Yeah.
So
they're classics.
Yeah.
They're beloved. I grew up on them. The first 3 are always going to hold a special place in my heart. That's for sure.
yeah.
That's interesting.
I just think Last
that's a fun
Crusade's the
watch.
best one.
I mean, I can't argue with that too much. I think I just like the first one more. Just maybe it's a bit of nostalgia. I've watched the first one.
I don't know why that doesn't work for me. I don't know why that doesn't take, because I would let that work. That works for me a lot in other franchises, but I might have seen Last Crusade a ton. I don't know. It's just funny. Like, I was watching and I was like, Spielberg, you're a genius. Yeah. But he
friend of the podcast.
He there's that line when he's teaching and he's like, in archaeology, X never marks a spot, and then later in Venice, literally X mark. Oh, I love it. It's so funny. The stuff where Andy's got to choose between saving the Grail. That's so good. That's probably pretty. I mean, I'll take that back. There's some good character arc in Last Crusade.
Yeah.
So
those are some good movies. Yeah. Watching anything else?
That's pretty much it. That's all I can really think about. I watched a couple episodes of Daredevil.
Yeah, just to kind of get freshened up. I do kind of want to do that too. Now, we don't have a whole lot of time, but I do kind of want to freshen up maybe on Daredevil after what I've been watching this week. Really, the only time I've had, it's been a little busier week, but with my free time, I have been watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Nice. I wanted to, I was so conflicted out of Captain America Brave New World that I wanted something to just I don't even know how to describe it, but something to just kind of sink my teeth into when it comes to a comparison for Sam. And because I just thinking back to that show, I liked this show. You did not as much like the show.
I like it now.
You probably would like it now if you watched it again. I
watched some scenes recently, and I think they work a lot better.
And I wanted something to compare to, just to kind of make sure I wasn't crazy, and I'm not crazy. It definitely, watching through it, I've got an episode or two left, but so far, watching through it again, I kind of just solidified more of what I felt about it. What works in the show really works, and I really like it. What doesn't, it kind of just solidified even more, just doesn't work. But I will say, in comparison to Captain America Brave New World, this is hands down a better Sam Wilson. It confirms kind of what we talked about, the lack of Bucky Barnes in Captain America Brave New World. Watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, their chemistry works so well. It's probably the best part of that show.
Yeah.
And you just don't get that same level of chemistry with Captain America and Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon, I guess, for that you've seen in the trailers.
Sorry, Joaquin.
And I'm sorry, it's just not there. And you do really feel that. But in this show, it does work. So there's a lot of things that I think work really well. There's some good action sequences in this. I mean, the opening sequence in episode 1 with Falcon works pretty well. Now, one thing I did kind of take out of it, and I won't talk too much about it, but it does still kind of like Captain America Brave New World lean on past Captain America projects, I feel like. It brings in a lot of characters. It doesn't do anything really new with the story. It's kind of just a rehash, but it's kind of carried with the chemistry between Sam and Bucky. It's carried with some of the cool action moments. It's carried with just some of the new stuff that they do with throwing in U.S. Agent and, new Captain America. It's kind of carried through with some of that. But there's definitely multiple moments where I thought, you're really relying on what we already know about the Captain America franchise. And I kind of wish they did something a little bit different. I do still think the villain's kind of weak. But I am kind of curious to get to the end and kind of see how I feel about him as Cap. Because we know, spoiler if you haven't seen this, he kind of takes the suit towards the end. But I have kind of enjoyed it, I will say. I do think that this is one of the better MCU shows. It's not the best. There's definitely a few I'd put over it, but I think it's one of the better ones compared to a handful of what we got.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
You haven't seen 97 yet.
I haven't, and I would be curious to kind of see where that falls. But it has been fun to watch it through, and it has been kind of nice to sit back and say, oh, okay, I'm kind of enjoying this. So
hot take, I think getting rid of the cowl was a mistake.
Oh, that's interesting. Because Anthony Mackie said, I'm done with the cowl. Did you see him talk about that?
I did. I think the goggles are enough, man. I think it looks kind of...
I do like the cowl.
I've always thought Falcon suit was a little lackluster just because it's super casual in a way.
And it's just very one
And so
note.
I freaking love the white cap suit. I freaking love it. I think it looks sick. And I like the cowl, personally.
I think the cowl is cool, yeah. I would agree, yeah.
So I wasn't crazy about in Brave New World. I'm like, at that point, I'm like, okay, can he just wear a cap helmet then?
Yeah. I thought he looked coolest when he had the full helmet on in the in certain like fight sequences, you know, where he's like flying and he's got kind of like the like breather tube. I thought he looked the coolest in that, and that's a full helmet.
I think there could have been something cool there with like that breathing apparatus to be like an attachment situation.
Yes, yeah.
Just because like in actual flying like helmets, those things like strap in and like hook up and stuff. So I thought that would have been cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, hot take is I think the cowl looks way better.
Yeah. I think that's a good thought.
That and I know you were talking about this and I remembered, and it was something I was thinking about when I was watching the MCU. And we won't dive on this too much, but I thought this was very, very lame when I saw it, and it looks like we're moving back towards it in Thunderbolts, which has got me excited. But they made a conscious decision to get rid of guns in Falcon Winter Soldier for Bucky and Sam. In all the movies, Sam uses like these he uses these MP7 type double stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember in even like Civil War, he uses the wing as like a riot shield type thing, and I thought that was sick.
Yeah.
More so, I understand Sam moving away from it. That's not. I get it. He's going to be Captain America.
Bucky, not so much though.
Bucky is a huge part of his character, and I definitely think that's a miss.
No, I agree. It's funny you bring that up because in I think episode it's either 2 or 3. I noticed it. I definitely thought, why are these two guys walking into the scenario and they're not carrying anything? Like it's just hand to hand. Like, and I did notice it a couple times in the show on this rewatch specifically, to where it does feel kind of out of place at times because they're going in against these people who are like superhuman, and it does feel kind of out of place sometimes. That's actually interesting. Yeah.
I remember that.
It's noticeable.
I thought that was kind of annoying.
It is noticeable. Yeah.
Not from like, I just thought that took away from Bucky's character a ton. And that was just something to get some brownie points with being progressive. And,
yes. Yeah.
And I get it. I get it with Sam. I think it actually makes a lot of sense.
It works a little
Sam,
bit. Yeah.
But I disagree with Bucky. I think his stuff, like
through the Winter Soldier.
No, I mean, it's just part of his character is that, and things have a miss. It's not as big a deal, but to me, it felt like we're doing the Punisher, but no guns.
Yes,
and it's not the same, but it felt on par, and it just feels like you're taking away from Bucky. I don't know, and the only time he uses guns is his Winter Soldier flashback.
Yeah, you're right,
and I think. I don't know. It
is an interesting choice for the character. I get it, but you do kind of feel it throughout the show. And I definitely noticed it upon watching through it again. That's for sure. That is really interesting.
Yeah.
But that's really the only thing I've been watching this week. I have some things I'd like to check out. But I have something I want to do.
Yeah.
So I would like to do... We're going to do a little bracket today.
Sweet.
This is kind of turned into a little bit more of a DCU episode. We've talked about like the Batman. We talked about some other stuff. So we're going to do a DC films bracket.
Okay.
So here's how this is going to work. I've got 16 DC films. Not DCEU, DC films.
Got it.
I've got 16 films. I'm going to hit you with a pairing. Round 1, we're going to do a little rapid fire. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 movies. I'm going to give you maybe 5 to 10 seconds to think through choice. Give me the choice.
Got it.
Once we get to the next round, I'll give you a little bit more time to maybe think through it, talk about it, because it's going to get harder. So each progressing round, maybe we get a little bit more time. Give me your thoughts, kind of what you think about it.
Okay.
Maybe any hot takes, maybe something you like, I don't like. We'll see how it goes out, all right? So I'm just going to start hitting you with them. So DC Films bracket. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's start a little lighter here. So I'm going to keep track of this. First one, Justice League Snyder Cut versus Aquaman.
Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut is...
I would have put Aquaman pretty far. I like Aquaman. I think it's all right.
I think it's pretty good too.
Yeah.
It's a fun time.
It's funny. I'm just saying. I was thinking of Aquaman. There's a lot it could beat, but yeah, that's
definitely
no comparison.
Batman v Superman. Let's say Ultimate Edition.
Okay,
cut.
Thank you.
I do need to make that distinction because I did with Snyder Cut.
Ultimate Edition cut. Yep.
Birds of Prey.
Oh. No, beefy Batman vs Superman.
Okay, yeah.
BVS.
That makes sense. Did you see Birds of Prey?
I did see Birds of Prey. Margot Robbie's just really good as Harley Quinn.
Yeah, carries the movie, but not too great.
Well, they did Black Mask I'm thinking Ewan McGregor Black Mask, but I'm remembering more about the movie and that I didn't like it.
Okay. The Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Not the awful one. Blue Beetle.
That
for me was a little tougher.
I hate that you compared those two.
Mm-hmm. That one was tougher for me to think through. And here's why. I really like Blue Beetle. I think it's a fun time. You got to pick one.
The Suicide Squad is a better movie, I think.
All right. Locking it in. Suicide Squad.
I like Blue Beetle a lot.
That was a tough one because I really, really liked Blue Beetle.
Couldn't it be Blue Beetle and Aquaman?
I wanted to give you some challenges here because I think I remember you saying you liked Blue Beetle.
I did.
And I thought this might be a fun one to think through. Great. All right. The Dark Knight Rises. First Wonder Woman.
Dark Knight Rises.
You think so? Did you like Wonder Woman?
I liked Wonder Woman.
I like Wonder Woman a lot. Dark Knight Rises, okay.
I mean, just because there's not a performance in Wonder Woman better than Tom Hardy, Bane.
Interesting take.
You think Tom Hardy Bane's not good?
No, I think Tom Hardy's Bane is good, but I think Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is fantastic. I think she really embodies the character.
But like, come on.
I mean,
it's different. It's different.
Yes, it is different. Yeah.
Okay. I would have put Wonder Woman over BVS.
Really?
I would have, yeah.
That is kind of interesting. I don't know if I would do that. It'd probably be right under BVS for me, but that's just my opinion. Here's a fun one. Man of Steel. Or an equally as good movie, Green Lantern.
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
Hey, they have the extended cut for Green Lantern on Max right now.
Are you serious?
And I want to watch it.
I do. That would probably be entertaining. I love that they did the scene in Deadpool where he shoots him through this, like when the script goes through it too. That's awesome. I think that's great. Okay. This one might be fun because I don't really know what you're going to think about one of these movies. Shazam versus Black Adam. I think I know where you're going to go. The first Shazam movie versus Black Adam.
We're still in the first bracket.
Mm-hmm.
You were like, you're going to have 10 seconds to answer. This can be easy. Okay.
I'll tell you when we get to the next bracket. Is that a tough one for you?
Kinda.
I thought this was going to be a lock for one of them. I'm actually kind of shocked.
I'm trying to remember them. Like,
yeah.
I'm trying to remember what happens in Black Adam.
Do you remember liking Black Adam or no?
I remember thinking it was okay.
Good. I'm glad you think that because I do too.
But I thought Shazam was good when I saw it.
Yeah. I thought you might be in the camp of hating Black Adam.
No.
Because a lot of people think it's an awful movie.
I don't think it's awful.
I think it's overhated.
Okay, Shazam.
You think Shazam?
Yeah, because I'm remembering the final like devil villain thing in Black Adam, and I thought that was really stupid.
That is a good point.
But I was thinking like a lot of the funny stuff. There's like a lot of funny moments. I think character design looks really good in that movie. No. Yeah, that's actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not a Black Adam hater, but that is easy because Zachary Levi gives a very true to form Shazam performance, and The Rock made his own hero up.
Yes, yeah. No, that's a good pick. I can understand that. The Batman versus Batman Begins. I think it's pretty easy.
You do?
But I don't know what you think.
Batman Begins is the best superhero movie ever made. I think The Batman, but that's me.
You think the Batman?
Yeah.
I would agree. Lastly, The Dark Knight or Joker?
The Dark Knight.
I think it's
I didn't
easy.
like the Joker.
That is an easy one. That's right. You didn't really like the Joker. All right. Round 2. The Justice League Snyder Cut versus Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition. I think you're going to go...
Cut.
Yeah, Snyder Cut.
You didn't even give it a chance. I could make a serious case for that movie, too.
For...
BVS in other brackets, I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
I could fight for it a little bit.
I think against those yeah.
That's just tough.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Okay, The Dark Knight Rises and The Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Interesting. Over The Dark Knight Rises. Why would you say that?
I think it's just a
better
bigger
movie?
accomplishment than Dark Knight Rises. The fact that I think Suicide Squad was so good is a bigger deal than Dark Knight Rises.
That's interesting. I don't know if I would do that, but I can understand. I can understand where you're coming from.
It's like I'm also not going to push through two. I know there's another movie on this list, The Dark Knight. I'm not going to push through both of them.
Rises, yeah.
So
you're playing the bracket too. Okay.
Yeah,
I see. Okay. I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
I can get it. Okay. These next two, this is where it's going to get tricky. Well, not this one. Man of Steel or Shazam?
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. Easy. Okay.
We like Man of Steel.
Now, this is where it gets tricky, and I kind of did this on purpose. Okay. The Dark Knight or the Batman?
I hate you.
Do you hate me for this? This early, I did this on purpose.
I hate you so much.
I'm going to force you to say something else. What do you do?
Screw you. Screw you.
Let's go.
All right.
The Dark Knight or the Batman?
I'm answering the question. It's my bracket, not yours. I'm answering it how I want to answer it. I think...
I will give you more time on this one if you want. I will give you an honorary more time because this is going to be the hardest one on this list.
Dang it. Gosh dang it. Brandon!
But you know there's other things on this list too.
Dude, no. It's like I have something I want to say. It's almost like I physically can't say it because it's tough.
I know what you want to say.
I had a take. And this is, I stand by. So I have Batman in my top 10.
The Batman?
Yes.
But where's the Dark Knight?
It's not on there.
Wow.
And I don't know if I knew that. It's not because I don't think it's good. I obviously it's fantastic. It's amazing. I have to get in the take to explain it.
Give it to me. Go ahead.
I think there's an issue I have with Nolan Batman. I think The Dark Knight as a standalone story is amazing. I actually have kind of an issue that technically Pattinson Batman has been Batman longer than Christian Bale's Batman. Because Christian Bale's only Batman for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I actually think that's interesting and not in a good way.
Yeah.
So on the movie-wise, Dark Knight's better.
Character-wise?
Pattinson does a better job, I think, than Bale. Batman. I think so. It's tough if...
It's your bracket. Your choice.
If I want to focus on the movie... Well, it's like other ones I focused on the movie. What's a bigger accomplishment? Well, The Dark Knight's a bigger accomplishment than the Batman, I think.
It's your choice, though. What is your...
It?
Which movie do you like better?
All right, I got it. Here's how the take I'm gonna give. I think The Dark Knight's a better movie. The Batman is a better Batman movie than The Dark Knight.
So you're gonna give it to?
I'm giving it to the Batman.
Oh my gosh! Over The Dark Knight. Oh, I can't wait to clip this. So Christian thinks The Batman is a better movie than The Dark Knight.
I didn't say that.
That's incredible. What a take. You heard it here tonight.
It's my favorite Batman portrayal, personally.
I will give you some validity. I think this is the best Gotham. I think this is the most comic book Batman we've gotten. I think it is the best Batman betrayal in live action, I would say.
If we should have titled this bracket like this is best DC movies instead of it being open, like if it was movies I enjoyed, I was on this euphoric high after the Batman.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I was too. Yeah.
So because of Batman, not because of the Joker, right?
Yes, yeah.
So,
that's
I almost
interesting.
regret that.
Locked in. All right.
But it would have won.
Yes.
It would have won it. If it pushed on past that point, it would have won the whole bracket.
Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm.
So
Here we go, though. Here's the last round before the championship. So first off, the Suicide Squad and the Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut.
Next one. You ready?
Yep.
The Batman, Man of Steel.
The Batman.
You think it's an easy, unfortunate choice? I think we know what the lock is then here. In the championship, the Batman, Snyder Cut. Who are you going to give it to?
Ooh. Oh, you think it's easy?
The Batman or the Justice League Snyder Cut?
I'm giving it to the Batman, personally.
That's what I would say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's an easy.
Yeah.
I love the Snyder Cut. Don't get me wrong, but I think I would put I would put a number of movies over it still. I would definitely say that.
Yeah.
The Batman, I knew once the Batman got past whatever that one was going to probably win it.
I actually have a pit in my stomach about that, Brandon.
The Batman is a better movie than The Dark Knight. Christian said it here.
I didn't say it, but it is in my top 10.
In The Dark Knight, is it?
I don't.
What planet are you living on?
I can't tell you.
That's crazy to me.
I have an emotional attachment to it.
To The Dark Knight?
No, to the Batman. I think it's incredible.
I think it's incredible. I think it's one of the best movies we've gotten this decade.
I just have other I think Nolan has created. I think it's not fair to say the Nolan movies are like the best comic book movies.
No, I don't think that.
Like,
I think they're really well done movies.
You're kind of right, but they're not comic book movies, man.
Yeah,
Batman as a character. I don't know. I wish we had titled. I should have prefaced at the beginning what's the best movie, because that would have guided me through a lot of that.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just pushed the Batman over the Dark Knight personally.
Wow. Unbelievable. That's incredible.
It's tough, man. It's like, what was a bigger accomplishment?
This is what I wanted to happen, though. I wanted to see. Is
the Batman a bigger accomplishment? I feel like people wanted the Batman to fail going to see it.
You think so? I don't think that.
I did. With Pattinson being Bruce Wayne, and it wasn't Affleck.
That's a good point.
And it was this different take. I think people were kind of itching for it, because I think people were like, we're getting another Batman take. There's not even worth trying.
There was a lot of buzz with Robert Pattinson.
I think people wanted it to fail, and the fact that it was like freaking awesome was amazing.
It was incredible. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough, though. I didn't see Dark Knight in theaters. I was in middle school.
Yeah, I probably didn't let you go.
So I didn't see it in theaters.
Yeah.
I think it's freaking awesome, though. I hate you.
That's so fun. I love that. I love that we did that.
At least people will see I'm broken up about it.
I'm glad to put you through that. That's true, if they watch the episode. But if they watch the clip, not so much.
Yeah, I just get lit up.
I'm just kidding. That is
There's no good argument.
The cool part, I think to your point about the Batman being such an accomplishment, is the fact that from what I was perceiving from a lot of like the content creators around, film and all these things, they were saying the conversation of which one is better is relevant. Like, we can have the conversation. And I think that's a huge accomplishment on the Batman's part, because everybody has hailed The Dark Knight as the greatest Batman movie, also one of the best movies. It's so many people's favorite movie of all time. It's been my favorite movie of all time for a long time. It's not now. But the Batman being in a conversation where people go, I think, man, it's a better Batman movie, is a huge accomplishment on the Batman's part.
That's why
and I think to your point,
it's definitely
it
not
did
a better
do that.
movie, but it's just special. It's so special, man. And
It is really special.
And it doesn't just feel like, you know how like
there's things
you watch
that are
The
better.
Dark Knight and you're like, yep, Nolan made a Batman movie. That's exactly like that. How that. It's like, hey, imagine Inception, but it's the Batman, and that's like literally the tone and mood of the movies he's made.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I don't see Planet of the Apes anywhere other than maybe like some of the color grading choices just being very distinct to one color, and like how they like use a lot of like oranges and dark like reds, and his use of like color, I think, is kind of similar, especially in War with like like the snow, and those like cool color balances, and then you have like Batman against sunsets and the like the wrecks, the car chase scene.
It is stylistically different.
It doesn't feel like that. Like I don't think you. I think you would watch.
There's
I
a
think
couple
you could
noticeable
watch Nolan
things.
movies and be like, all right, would you believe me if I said all of these were directed by the same people?
Yeah,
and you would be like. No, like or like yes in Nolan's case, but like for Matt Reeves you would probably not say that.
Yeah,
like so it's obviously not a better movie. I think The Dark Knight is incredible and a way better movie.
But I think the Batman does certain things better than The Dark Knight. I think its iteration of Batman as a character, as a comic book hero, it does that better. I think Gotham feels more accurate to what maybe we've wanted to see from the comic books. And it feels gritty. It feels very much what everybody knows and loves. Whereas, again, I love the Nolan films. They're some of my favorites of all time. But like, it does feel like you're in Chicago. It does kind of feel like you're in just a typical American city. And that's fine. And you do have your Gotham elements in there. I think the Batman does certain things when it comes to kind of the style of what you would want in a Batman movie better. But I think The Dark Knight is a better movie overall.
Yeah, I think it's probably just a little bit of a bigger accomplishment.
Yeah. It's a tough one, though.
So you put Dark Knight over Batman Begins?
Definitely. For sure. Hands down.
Really?
Yeah, there's no argument there, in my opinion. Villain's better. I think the story's better. I think the Batman Begins probably looks a little more Gotham than the other two. But Gotham from like the comic books, like it feels a little darker. It feels like he kind of got off on kind of a more comic booky start and then kind of leaned more into just what he's good at if you're watching like an Inception or you're watching like a Tenet.
Yeah,
but
you're right in that.
It shifts tones just slightly, like just barely.
Here's the thing. I think Nolan's writing shines a little bit more in the Batman, and I think performances shine a little bit more in the Dark Knight, and it's an ebb and flow thing. But I think that like as far as a Batman take, Batman training under Ra's in the League of Shadows, I think is pretty cool.
Oh, I think it's sick,
And I think I could have used more decisions like that in the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Because it's very
It's
stereotypical, not stereotypical, but it's like the Joker's the Joker. There's no writing on the Joker's part that's like, what a take on the Joker, right? Like Heath Ledger just is the Joker.
I don't know if I'd agree with that fully.
I
think
I'm saying that not in a negative way.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying that's negative. I'm just saying
he just embodies the Joker.
It's not like a take, right, where he looked at the story of the Batman and said,
"Let me turn into a gangster Jared Leto Joker." That's a take on Joker. That's what I'll say. He just leaned into.
You're not gonna like me.
No.
I think that Joker could have been fine.
Nope. Wrong.
Why?
That Joker was awful.
Oh, I'm talking about before it came out. Like I'm talking about.
You mean
just
it could have
looking at the
worked?
images of it?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
I think you can do different styles of Joker and make it work. But I never believed that Jared Leto is like a gangster looking Joker.
Let's not talk about the actor. I'm talking about you have the context of Batman vs Superman, and this is what the Joker looks like.
I think from the
And you have the character designs for Harley Quinn.
The shot, I think that looked good. I think the shot that, the shot where he's like in the circle of the knives and he's kind of like in like a half a suit or whatever. I would give you that. I was kind of like, oh, this could work. But the scenes where like when they would show like, because I remember them showing like one image of him like in the club and he's got like the fur or something like that. I remember looking at that one and going, I don't like that. I don't think that works at all. I thought
it was cool.
Because he's like shirtless and it's like, I just don't, I didn't
think
that
Joker
worked
wearing nice suits,
the slick
being
back.
tatted up, I think that could work. Personally, it's closer. It's arguably like a little bit it's like a step in the direction closer to the like source material than necessarily Nolan.
Yeah.
Because Joker is a gangster. And he has henchmen,
right.
and he runs networks of stuff. Mm-hmm. So
yes,
so him being the solo, I'm gonna set the world on fire, watch it burn.
Well, I mean, he really leans in.
No, you let me finish my point. Yeah. He leans into that in Nolan, and they don't lean into it necessarily enough in Jared Leto.
Yeah,
but that is actually the Joker.
Yeah,
Joker wore a wide brimmed hat and wore a trench coat. He looked like a mafia boss. Mm-hmm. So this idea to do it as a modern day gangster, I don't think is wild. Like I think I don't understand why you couldn't necessarily follow that line of thinking and be like, yeah, that would be a take. That would be a modern, because like he's a gangster in the comics or not even the comics. Let's talk animated series.
Yeah,
in animated series, he's gangster.
He's very gangster. Yeah.
So that to me, I thought could have worked.
I just don't think that works. Now
I'm gonna have to put the image up in the video.
You have to put the image up in the video. I don't think that works.
I think
I don't think I'm looking at his big purple
when he's
trench
like
coat.
in the tux lighting things up with a machine gun. I think works. I'm not thinking about that, but I think the stuff in Arkham, like with the I think that like that vibe, the baseball bat and the tats, I think it could have worked like that. I'm thinking about that. I think that works.
I see the chains, I see all the bling, and I'm just like, you're just trying to be like. He just looks like a pimp to me. He doesn't look like a clean cut gangster. You know what I mean? That's where I just don't think it works. I think it looks too flashy.
I think he's pretty menacing, though. I don't know.
Like, I think he's menacing.
I think the scene where the guy walks in and he's like rubbing his shoulders and like...
Oh, that's menacing. That's yes.
Like, I mean, it feels like...
It sends chills up your spine.
Yeah, I think
don't get me wrong. But I just think... Well, I mean, obviously, I think the moment he talks, it's awful. But I think just some of the images in the club and like some of those scenes, they just don't work for me at all. And I think when I saw some of like the trench coat, I just thought, why is he shirtless? I'm tatted up is fine, but just like the chains, it just didn't work.
I'm not saying it worked for me. I just had an open mind about it. So I wasn't a completely written off. I think the stuff like when he has the nice suits on, I think that's what they should have leaned into.
I never wrote it off, but I definitely came in extremely skeptical. Especially watching the trailers. I
think when Harley Quinn jumps into the vat of like acid and he like turns his back and like goes, ugh, and takes the jacket off and like swan dives.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty sick. Like gosh. With the music swells, like because it's just like the way he just like fall. I don't know.
Are we watching the same movie, dude?
I think that's pretty fun. Me and my shout out Woody, friend of the show.
Woody.
We went and saw it. We're like. The movie might have just been absolute but that scene was sick. Like, as far as Joker, like, I'm not saying authentic Joker. I just thought, like, they wrote a cool scene for Joker.
Just a moment.
They just wrote a cool moment at the end of the day.
I don't have anything to say about that. I mean, like, sure. Sure. That's funny.
I enjoy like the henchmen, how they like, if you want to think about when they are invading Arkham, like the henchmen like dressed in like mascot, like Easter bunny costumes.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is a fine take. Like, I think that take could work.
They make choices. Yes, they do.
I think that take could work. I just think execution was
poor.
Abysmal.
Yeah.
But I think I could appreciate where it was coming from, and I could have been open to receiving it. And at least seeing it. I wasn't a hater from the start.
Yeah.
Like,
you're right. A lot of people were hating on this immediately.
If there's I remember a conversation we were having way back when was like, dude, that guy kind of looks like he would want to fight Batman.
Yes.
Like
Looks
he's like
crazy enough
he's like
to-
I want to freaking fight.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm gonna take this bat. I'm gonna take my jacket off, and we're gonna freaking brawl.
Yeah.
And that I think like he just had this raw sense of it's tough because you like compare it, and then you immediately compare it to Leto, and it's like, oh well, Leto did, and I'm like, that's Jared. That's not Leto. I'm sorry, Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Yeah.
You're immediately comparing to Ledger. He's like, well, say Ledger did, and I said, well, no. He just had this sense of like
He was more of just like a manipulator, like a
Yeah.
puppeteer, than like a, kind of ground level crime boss. Yeah, crazy, psychotic.
Yeah.
He was crazy and psychotic, but in a more calculated kind of just criminal mastermind way.
I could see in the stylistic choices of the Snyderverse that they were making, I could have seen like a version of this where like
he fights Ben Affleck's Batman.
right with like he puts on some brass knuckles and he's
Yeah.
like, let's go. And actually could like fist fight or something, right?
Yeah.
Or like he could brawl
Yeah.
or something. Like, if there was a Joker that was like I solve all my stuff with a fist fight, it was like that Joker.
That would be the one.
And
Yeah, I mean,
and
yeah,
like
you're
there,
right.
I'm just saying like they could have done. It's like that's a genuine swing and a miss. Like
Yes.
they took a swing and they missed, and that's whatever. At least they took a swing. Like at
Yes.
least I can give it the credit that they were like, we got to do it differently.
Yeah.
And I don't think Joaquin Phoenix was different enough. Like I think they leaned.
No,
I think they
you're right.
leaned in a completely wrong direction. Like. Where I just felt like that guy wasn't capable of doing anything,
Yeah.
and just by circumstance was the Joker.
I thought it was, I mean, I can't really disagree with that, but I thought it was so different and just a really well executed movie that it almost didn't feel like a Joker movie as far as comic book. It did feel just like
take on the Joker.
It was a take. Arthur was just a psychotic, individual. But it leaned so far the opposite direction that I didn't almost say like, they just didn't do the Joker well. It was just, this is just completely one-off, inspired by the Joker. He becomes the Joker, but it just didn't feel like they were trying to be what we know from like the comic books. So it worked for me. I think the Joker movie is really good. I think it's fantastic. I don't ever want to watch it again, really.
It's not
but
fantastic. It's a good movie compositionally. I think it is not a good Joker movie. Like it's not. It's just
you think it's not a good Joker movie, but you think it's a good movie.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't like. I have a hard time being like that guy's just too handicapped. Like he's too much. He's just not menacing enough. And the only reason he's menacing is because they've set up the whole movie that he's mentally unstable. Like when the first time we see Ledger, we're like, this guy could do
He's crazy.
anything at this moment.
Yeah.
I don't need
When
any.
he walks in
I don't need
laughing-
an exposition of a movie to build that guy up. I
Yeah.
get it. I'm on the same page. But they have to like basically put us through these paces in the Joker movie where we're seeing him
Slowly
hallucinate.
slip.
We're
Yeah.
seeing all this stuff. We're seeing this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
He's got to be mistreated. Like everyone's got to be an absolute jerk around him all the time and treat him like garbage. So when he actually comes to a breaking point, I don't need a Joker. I can take my Joker past the breaking point. I don't need to see
Yeah.
it. And I didn't feel like it was like I knew I watched the trailers and how I thought they were taking the Joker in the trailers was exactly how it was executed. They did nothing special with the way that they did the Joker. I could have told you that's how they were doing the Joker by the trailer, and like they didn't take him anywhere special. I knew what they were doing.
I don't think that's a knock on the movie, though. I think that was still executed. I mean, I would agree. I knew exactly where the Joker was going, but I think it was executed so well that I didn't care that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some great scenes. I think he gives a great performance, and I think the writing's really good. But it's not special in a sense of it being a Joker movie, in my opinion. Like, it's not a fun take. It's not like a great take on the Joker, in my opinion. Like, it's just a good movie, and it's kind of like
I just didn't go in with the expectation of this, especially just. I think the trailers gave me enough of an expectation of what this is, and I went in going. I'm not going in expecting this to be like a comic book Joker. This is going to be wildly different because the trailers did perceive that he's slipping into madness. It's pushing him. There's obviously something mentally going wrong with him. It's not just crime boss Joker. It's more psychological, crazy guy,
and
who
I
needs to
think
be in an institute. And I think just watching that slow slip to madness, I knew that's what it was going to be going in. and it just executed really well, and I was there for the journey. I didn't go in expecting it to be like a crime boss or even this like really crazy take on what we know from the Joker. It felt just like this inspired Joker story. There's
some stuff in the comics that suggests Joker is super sane, which I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
Hope is what pertains to is the fact that he's hyper aware of what he is, as in like a comic book character, not in like a Deadpool way, but in a way that like
I know I'm crazy.
Nothing matters.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want. Nothing matters, and I have nothing. Like, and so I would say that is not come out, and I don't think it's supposed to. But that's just like I liked that, and I thought not Leto. I keep freaking mixing that up. I think. Ledger, and at least Leto and Snyder Cut kind of embody that a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
And so this guy doesn't. I don't think they were trying to, and so I'm not docking it, but I'm just saying like that's not my Joker. And I was not. People were like, "How are they gonna tie into? What if they tied in the Joker and Pattinson?" I'm like, that's stupid. Don't do it. Batman would wipe the floor. The Joker's supposed to be a genius.
Yes,
he's a genius. He's smart. Yeah. He's intellectual. He's the smartest guy in the room. Everyone underestimates him. The only reason anyone underestimates this Joker is because no one thinks he brought a gun to a movie set.
Yes, yeah.
So it's not the same, okay? It's fine to have take. It's fine to do a take. It's not a big deal. It's a take on the character.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Move on from it. I don't know why they did a second one, especially because it tanked. I don't think it was needed to do a second one. So either, yeah. I didn't think it was worth movie screen by scene by scene breaking down the movie to try and tie in all the Easter eggs. Take it for what it is. Okay. Yeah. It's a take. It's like, how would the world realistically create someone like a Joker figure? Not even like he's not like the Joker at all.
Just
he wears
figure.
makeup.
Yeah.
That's it. That's really it. He's not the same. Yeah. It's not the same. So for that reason, it's not my thing. It's not my Joker. I recognize it's a good movie, but it's not my favorite take.
That's fine. Yeah.
It's a good movie. It should let it be what it is. I don't need it to connect to anything. I don't need it to have it's a take on the Joker, and I can live with that.
Yeah. That's fine.
If they want but it's like even the Penguin show does it way better than that movie, where it gives a grounded take on a character like the Penguin, but it's still very true to the character of Penguin. So that's why I just don't think that Joker movie's as good as... I think it's maybe overhyped. I would probably go as far to say that, because there are other subjects... I'm going to point to the Penguin again. It's literally the Penguin. He's literally the Penguin.
Yes.
And it's technically grounded also a take on the Penguin.
Yeah.
But he embodies the character of Oz. Mm-hmm. He is Oz, and it's evident.
Yes.
Even though it's technically a take, it is the character.
Yeah.
Phoenix's Joker is a take on the Joker and is not actually the Joker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they were going for trying to embody like a comic book Joker. I think it was a kind of swing take, but I can kind of see your point as far as it doesn't feel like the Joker we know, but it is called the Joker. I don't even know about the sequel. I didn't even watch the sequel. I don't know why we did that. I will say out of seeing Joker, I really liked it. Being removed from it for a couple years, I don't think it holds up as well. I will say that. I don't think I look at it as highly as I did.
I think it's a stellar movie. Will say.
It's a good movie, but I don't think it's quite as good or should be beloved as it was maybe within the first 6 months to a year that it came out. I think looking back, I'm kind of like, it's not enough that I want to go back and watch it frequently. I kind of am okay with moving on from it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
I never wanted to touch on it ever again.
Yeah, understandable.
No, I just don't. It's fine. Just don't touch it. Just let it be what it is. You're gonna run into problems once you start trying to interconnect it into everything.
Yeah, and we made a sequel.
Yeah, we did do that, didn't we? All right. let's knock out this last topic.
Yeah, and we've been talking about the DC universe. So I am really curious. We've got Superman coming out this year.
Yep.
It's the entry into the DCU, I think is what they're just calling it, right? I think it's not the DCEU, it's just the DCU.
Yeah, DC Universe.
Do we think Superman will save the DC universe from what it's been or bring it back, resurgence? Do we think that this will be the film to kind of resurge the DC back into the mainstream like maybe Marvel was at its peak or DC films at its peak?
I think DC is already a little bit higher probably than most people. I think it's already had plenty of, like, the Snyder Cut brought it way up, Suicide Squad brought it way up, Peacemakers brought it way up. So I think DC is sitting, it's not like we're not at the rock bottom, right? Like, we've built up a little bit. We're definitely, I would almost say, like, if you looked at the past phases of, well, I'm not going to say that. If you took out the wins of Marvel, so let's take out Guardians and let's take out Guardians and...
Which phase?
I'm just saying past Endgame.
Yeah.
So we're taking out Guardians, No Way Home. Well, let's say phase 5 then.
Yeah.
So, well... Yeah, so
Yeah.
well, let's do the last two phases. So no Guardians, No Way Home, and no Deadpool Wolverine. I think the DC, if you took out those movies, the DC and the MCU would be sitting kind of at the same spot right now.
Interesting.
So, and I'm saying Marvel is here, now they're kind of here, and DC was here, and they've gained some favor.
Just with some of the
Right. So they gained some favor. So that I say that to say I think they're kind of sitting at some equal ground right now. And I think if Superman is just a 10 out of 10, if Superman is cinema, then DC will then jump Marvel, I think.
What? Interesting. I mean, I guess maybe depending on what Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four does.
True. I'm just saying at this point.
You think? Okay.
Let me ask you this. If those movies are knocked out of the parks, then no.
If you think those movies are films, but Superman is cinema, do you think Superman pushes it above?
I think if people unanimously agree Superman is cinema, people will be really excited about DC.
More than maybe the MCU.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's hard
as a whole, yes, but I would struggle to think like if other projects, probably not. Like, people are very hyped about Spider-Man 4 and Doomsday. Yeah. But I would say, like, in terms of like I would feel like people will feel, let's say Thunderbolts is awesome, and let's say Thunderbolts is films. Yeah, like you're saying, those are films. So then I think people will be more optimistic about DC's future than they would be at the MCU at that point.
Yeah. Because we really need...
This is the ultimate tester, right? So we're like... James Gunn's in charge of all the projects. Yeah. James Gunn's directing this.
He's directing this one specifically, yeah.
This is like kind of like the perfect thing to filter to run things through, where I do not think MCU has had a movie like that. Like, it should have been Brave New World.
Yeah, it should have, yeah.
And it's not. So it's like the lens to look at what the future might look like.
Yeah.
And Brave New World should have done it. It's not. I still struggle to think it would be in Thunderbolts performed well and was really good. I still think people would be skeptical, but I think if Superman is like 10 out of 10 awesome, then I think everyone will be in.
Yeah. I used to think, and not to linger on the MCU, I used to think Captain America Brave New World is going to be the lens moving forward. And then I was actually listening to some other people talk about it, and they were saying that they kind of felt like this was the last like segue film to get through what we've had and get into the next kind of phase of films. And I thought that was kind of an interesting point. I would probably say further, I don't think Thunderbolts is the lens. I think Fantastic Four is the lens.
Yeah.
I think if Fantastic Four does not do well, that's a big lens into where we're going. If it does really well, I think people get really excited. I think Thunderbolts is probably different enough that it isn't going to affect kind of the overall moving forward. I'm just hoping it's a really good kind of interesting film with characters that we've already met.
Yeah.
But I think Fantastic Four is the lens for MCU moving forward, and I think, of course, Superman.
Yeah, we're introducing completely new characters in Fantastic Four.
And they're going to directly
story,
affect the MCU moving forward in a big way.
Right. So kind of like Fantastic Four and Superman are sitting in a similar pocket.
Here's what I'll say about the DCU, though. I am of the opinion that I think the DCE universe has been dead since like 2019. I think things like the Suicide Squad and the Snyder Cut are different enough that they almost don't feel like DCEU movies. I know they are, but I have felt like since we had Shazam, the shared universe stuff has kind of fallen off as far as I think the fans' perception. It's been like dismantling, if that makes sense, and kind of people have kind of fallen off the DCEU shared universe. And they've delivered so many like disappointing things that I think we're far enough away that I think this Superman, even if it's just good, is going to be fresh enough and far enough removed that I think people are still going to be really excited for the DC moving forward, unless the movie bombs and just is abysmal. I think we're so far removed and people generally just are not a fan of what they've done in recent years with the shared universe stuff for DC, that even if Superman is just mediocre, I think people are going to be like, but I think this could go somewhere.
I would agree with you.
I think it's going to be fresh enough.
I think if Superman is a 7 out of 10,
people will be happy.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I probably won't be happy.
I don't think I will be, but I think
I'll probably be pretty bummed because I think it's going to be a 10 out of 10. I'm like going positive, and I think Thunderbolts is going to be a film, and I think Superman is going to be cinema.
I think I'm leaning towards Superman's going to be a film.
I don't think so.
I think it's going to be a film. I'm hoping for cinema.
I think James Gunn knows exactly what to do. I think
he knows too. This is
Guardians 3 is telling of that.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be cinema, in my opinion. I really do. I really think it's gonna knock it out of the park because I
hope so. I want it to. So bad.
I think he's emotionally attached to the character more than the Guardians were in the beginning. I'm sure he's more attached to the Guardians now, having done 3 movies. Yeah. But I think
he really loves.
I think there's a lot of tender love and care going in.
Yeah.
And I think if he really wants to deliver on the actual embodiment of Superman, and that's his goal, then I think actually I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Especially because I don't think we've actually received a character accurate Superman.
We've tried
ever
in just ended up being
movies.
Bad. Yeah.
I think everyone's done a take on Superman to add some complexity.
Yeah.
And if he really wants to just stay true to the character, then I think, in my opinion, it'll be really good. I'm expecting cinema at that point. I think James, obviously Marvel was not shooting for cinema with Brave New World. They were like, let's put it out and we'll reshoot it to get it acceptable, and then we'll put it out and be done with it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that's the thought process in Superman.
With Superman, no. I don't think so at all.
I think they're like, we're knocking this out of the park.
Because they seem excited. Like James, I know marketing is always going to appear that way, but you can tell in marketing and a lot of different things, I think if you watch it enough, that certain movies are like, we're just going to put this out here. We've got to do trailers. We've got to do stuff. So we're just going to shove as much in the trailer to see if we can't get you in the theater, which I think they did with Captain America Brave New World. Whereas with Superman, it feels like they're giving you the right stuff. They've taken some interesting choices, but they're giving you the right stuff to get you excited, but not so much that it feels like, they're just showing me everything, and I know exactly what this movie's going to be. I still don't really know what this movie's going to be. I've seen kind of a vibe and a tone and some cool character designs, but I don't know what it's going to be. And I think it looks like he's really excited about it.
I mean, if it's not cinema and it's a film, I'll still be happy, but
I'll be happy.
I'm expecting cinema.
I think if it's still a film, or I think even if it's just, it's a movie, it's a fun time, I think I will. Here's what I'm going to say. I think even if it's just a movie and I go, I think the good outweighs the bad, it's a fun time, but it's not the best DC movie I've ever seen. I think I'm still optimistic going forward. I don't think I'm not gonna just throw out the new DCU.
Let's put it, if it's cinema, I'll be stoked. I'll be like, sweet, great. DC's about to blow up. Yeah, like it's about to be crazy. Yeah. If it's just a movie, that makes me question a lot. That, I mean, personally, just because James Gunn, he didn't have to run stuff by nobody. Like, he doesn't have to run stuff by Kevin Feige. He is Kevin Feige. Yeah. So he's James Gunn. This is like if Kevin Feige directs a movie and it sucks.
Yeah.
It's like...
That's a good point. Yeah, no. Because he has full creative liberty.
So if it's not amazing, it needs to be amazing.
Yeah.
He can make amazing movies. Guardians is an amazing movie.
So if it falls on basically... Because he's the creative director now, or head of the DC department, and making this movie, it really does fall on him that if he can't deliver on at least something good or something great, really, it needs to be great.
I think we're past good. I think
it has to be great.
He's an amazing director, and he at this point is going down in history as a great director. So I think it's like it's not the same, but it's on par with like watching a Nolan movie and being excited about a Nolan movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough because people don't like Tenet. I think Tenet's great, but
yeah. I think people will come around on that one. You just think it needs to be great in order to really deliver on, okay, I know the direction, I've got it, we're moving forward,
like,
it's going to blow up.
Wouldn't you be, like, if it's not great, you would probably question, because it's James's fault.
I would be concerned, yeah, but I don't know if I would throw out, like, the entire future.
I'm not saying throwing it out, but
I think some people would.
I'm saying, like, I would say, I at that point would say, why was it not great?
No, I would too, yeah.
Like, why would you not make it great?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that
You know what makes a great movie.
Yeah. I just think there's a lot riding. I think the overall fan base, I think if it's not great and it's just okay, I think a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, you know, I think DC's we're just not doing this.
Oh, well, I think if it's okay, the general audiences will be all right.
We'll see. They can be pretty harsh on these DC
I'm
films.
just saying, for me,
yeah,
I just think
maybe
we're already seeing it with Brave New World. They're pretty nice about that one. So
that's true. Yeah, we've seen some very, very gentle takes, I would say, in some ways.
No one's wrong. It's just
no, because everybody's enjoyment's different of the movie.
No one's wrong. I mean, it's just different.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it is a big year for the DC because I think if it does deliver, I hope we're back. I really want to be. Because, I mean, I've always been in the camp that, I love the DCU characters more than the Marvel, but Marvel's just hit their stride for so long. And so it kind of leaned towards the MCU enjoyment level was more. But I would say I love the DC characters more. So I really wanted to come back and do really well.
Yeah. My favorite MCU character is a ripoff of a great DC character.
Which one?
Winter Soldier, and he's just a ripoff of the Red Hood.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot of them like that.
So
we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
This year.
We will see.
Yeah, I'm excited though.
July. I think it'll be good. I personally am expecting cinema at this point.
I mean, I'm expecting it to be really good too. I'm trying not to overhype it and then go in being disappointed.
I think it has more pressure than Infinity War. So
I don't agree.
We don't have to get into it. But
yeah. Only reason I would say no.
If Infinity War sucked, everyone still would have went and saw Endgame.
Yes, I would say that.
And if Endgame was good, then they would have gotten over Infinity War. I think if Superman sucks, then they're going to hurt on their next box office release for DC, and people will never come around on Superman, and they'll be like, they won't get over Superman. Yeah,
maybe I'll change that, and I would say maybe there's more riding on Endgame than Infinity War to deliver on the final film in a 3
I don't expect it to be like as good as Infinity War, but I'm just saying
no.
This, in terms of like a leading movie, it has way more writing on it. It's got an entire franchise writing on it where Infinity War did not. Everyone was going to see the next 10 movies that came out after Infinity War.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's a good point. I'll give it that.
So if Superman sucks, I think they're going to struggle to put butts in seats.
Yeah.
But I think if Superman sucks, then they'll move the Batman up.
That'd be interesting. We'll see.
We'll see, though. That's
a wrap there, then. I mean, I don't think I have too much else to talk about. And anything else you want to cover?
No.
Great.
We're good to go.
So subscribe on our YouTube. Please check us out there. Hit some comments. Give us some feedback. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We are on Spotify. Check us out on Spotify as well if you want to listen just to the audio version. We would love the support. It would mean the world to us. So check us out on all of our socials. And yeah.
Sweet.
That's a wrap, baby.
Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap. I like it.